Hello everyone, and welcome to Speak the Story channel, here where you can learn a language through stories. So please support us by clicking subscribe and like to get more. Change yourself and not the world. Long ago, people lived happily under the rule of a king. The people of the kingdom were very happy, as they led a very prosperous life with an abundance of wealth and no misfortunes. Once, the king decided to go visiting places of historical importance and pilgrim centers at distant places. He decided to travel by foot to interact with his people. People from distant places were very happy to have a conversation with their king. They were proud that their king had a kind heart. After several weeks of travel, the king returned to the palace. He was quite happy that he had visited many pilgrim centers and witnessed his people leading a prosperous life. However, he had one regret. He had intolerable pain in his feet, as it was his first trip by foot covering a long distance. He complained to his ministers that the roads weren't comfortable and that they were very stony. He could not tolerate the pain. He said that he was very much worried about the people who had to walk along those roads, as it would be painful for them too. Considering all this, he ordered his servants to cover the roads in the whole country with leather so that the people of his kingdom could walk comfortably. The king's ministers were stunned to hear his order, as it would mean that thousands of cows would have to be slaughtered in order to get sufficient quantities of leather, and it would cost a huge amount of money also. Finally, a wise man from the ministry came to the king and said that he had another idea. The king asked what the alternative was. The minister said, "Instead of covering the roads with leather, why don't you just have a piece of leather cut in a suitable shape to cover your feet?" The king was very much surprised by his suggestion and applauded the wisdom of the minister. He ordered a pair of leather shoes for himself and requested all his countrymen also to wear shoes. Moral of the story: instead of trying to change the world, we should try to change ourselves. Now let's have some new words and phrases. Prosperous. Successful, usually by earning a lot of money. In a prosperous country like this, no one should go hungry. Abundance. The situation in which there is more than enough of something, like too much. For example, there was an abundance of food at the wedding. Pilgrim. A person who makes a journey, often a long and difficult one, to a special place for religious reasons. For example, all the time we help tourists and pilgrims to visit the house. Witness. A person who sees an event happening, especially a crime or an accident. For example, police are appealing for witnesses to the accident to come forward. Pain. A feeling of physical suffering caused by injury or illness. For example, I feel a sharp pain in my foot. Complain. To say that something is wrong or not satisfactory. For example, I hate to complain, but the film was terrible. Stony. A ground contains a lot of stones. For example, the soil here is very stony. Leather. Animal skin treated in order to preserve it and used to make shoes, bags, clothes, equipment. For example, The sofa is covered in real leather. Stunned. Very shocked or surprised. For example, she was stunned when she learned she was pregnant. Slaughtered. The killing of animals for meat. For example, no rights are granted to animals raised and slaughtered for food. Applauded. To say that you admire and agree with a person's action or decision. For example, I applaud their efforts to clean up the city, but they must do more. Now it's your turn. We will give you some questions and write the answer down below in a comment. And see you next time.